Howdy guys, today we're going to be making some DNA keychains that look like this one that I've already done here. You can see that we have the sugars going down the side along with the phosphates. This forms our sugar-phosphate backbone, and in the middle we have our nitrogen base pairs. Additionally, this model can be twisted into the double helix shape that we talked about in class, so when you're done with this you should have a model that's 10 base pairs long and it completes one full helical turn. In order to do this today, you're going to need a few supplies. First, we're going to start with 20 of these beads that represent our deoxyribose sugar. We need 18 of these beads that represent our phosphate groups. And then we're going to need 20 total nitrogen bases. And you can use whatever colors you prefer as long as you have matching sets. So for example, these I have 4 each of, those will be my A and T, and these I have 6 of each, those will be my C's and G's. And then lastly, you're going to need about 2.5 feet of a thin metal wire that you can thread through the beads. In order to start this, we're first going to take our metal wire here, and you want to match up the two ends and then just kind of pull it all the way down to the end so that you find the center point of your wire. Right here where this folds is about the middle. And that's going to be important because it matters that we get our starting beads on in the middle there. And then I'm going to go ahead and start by threading a phosphate bead. And this will be followed by a sugar. One of my matching nitrogen base pairs, I'm going to use a C and a G. Another sugar, and a phosphate. So it's going to look something just like this. And then I'm going to pull those all the way down to that middle part that we just identified. Right here. And I want those nitrogen base pairs to be right on the middle. I'm going to kind of flatten this out and then bend it right on either side of that sugar. So now I have something like this. The rest of the steps are essentially just going to repeat over and over until we're done. So on one end of the wire only, I'm going to thread a sugar, 2 more nitrogen bases, I'll switch to A and T for this one, and another sugar. And then I'm going to thread my other wire through it. Just like that, and then pull it all the way down. And if you just keep tugging on both sides of the wire, it will eventually get all the way down to the end. Kind of flatten out the bottom again just so that our molecule is coming together straight. And that's our first one. Make sure it's good and snug. At this point, you're going to thread a phosphate on each side. So there's one, and then on the other wire, thread another phosphate. All the way down. Now I'm going to repeat my sugar, nitrogen base, matching nitrogen base, sugar on one of the sides. Doesn't really matter which side you start on. Thread the other side through. A little bit tricky to match everything up. There you go. And again, just pull it all the way down. Once you get going on this, it actually goes pretty quickly. So I'm just going to keep threading these. You can just keep watching it until you kind of have it down and you understand the pattern to repeat. So phosphate on each side, nitrogen base, deoxyribose sugar, nitrogen base. Make sure you get matching sets there. Another sugar. Thread that through. And as you're ending this, if you notice that one side is a little bit shorter than the other, go ahead and string the beads on that side so that it's a little bit easier to thread that longer side through. Tight. Last step, kind of double check, make sure everything is squared up, and then all you want to do is finish this off into a little loop so that you can hang it from a keychain or a backpack or something. And just twist that so it's kind of finished off. You want to make sure if you have any wire hanging over, you kind of snip that off so that it doesn't catch on anything. They can be a little bit sharp. And there you go. That is your completed DNA model. Again, feel free to give it that helical turn that we talked about in class. It works pretty nicely for that. Thanks for watching.